Anyone who follows the channel has probably noticed that I've been using pretty much the same multimeter for many years. Actually, it's been in use for over 10 years and still works great. But recently, something happened that made me think about looking for a more modern piece of equipment. During an off-site service call, right when I needed to use the multimeter, the battery died. That made me realize two things. First, that it was about time to have a more up-to-date tool as a backup option, and second, that a rechargeable battery would be much more practical for the way I use it. So I started looking for a multimeter that was compact, easy to carry around, had a rechargeable battery, and preferably had some features that don't exist in older models. It was during that search that I found the Finirsi DMT-99. But does it really meet those requirements? That's what we're going to find out in this video. Before turning the device on, let's take a look at what comes with the product. In the box we have the multimeter, a pair of test leads, a USB Type-C cable to recharge the battery, and a multi-language user manual which includes Portuguese. Now let's get to what really matters. One of the first things that caught my attention was the size. It has a very small footprint, it's very lightweight, has a very durable finish, and a good grip. Since one of my goals was to find something easy to carry, this compact format is already a big plus. When you turn the device on for the first time, it goes to the language selection screen where we're going to select English. Then it loads the home screen where it's already in auto mode. The function buttons are now individual, with each one selecting functions within a subgroup. There's no longer that mechanical dial like on older multimeters. This is nice because it prevents poor contact or even wear and tear on the contacts like you get with older multimeters. So here in the center, we have the auto selection to enter automatic mode and also the menu selection. Here on the right button, we have the key that manually selects the functions. In this case, DC voltage, AC voltage, resistance, capacitance, and continuity and diode. On the bottom key, we have the mode selection for temperature, frequency counter, it measures up to 10 MHz, and also NCV mode. This NCV function is used to detect a live cable without making contact with the conductor. So you bring the NCV sensor close and the multimeter will detect that cable is live or not. Keep in mind that this function is not a wire detector inside a wall, for example. It only detects if a cable is live or not. This means you have to bring the device close to the live cable and then it will emit a signal indicating whether the cable is live or not. The next function is the one that detects the phase and neutral of the grid. In this case, you need to disconnect the black test lead for safety reasons because now you're going to touch the red lead to the conductor or the outlet to a pin in the outlet and detect if that pin or conductor is a phase. The multimeter will emit an audible and visual signal, and if it's a ground or neutral, it won't emit any signal. Here on the left side, we have current measurement, in this case current in milliamperes or amperes, and here you select the terminal you're going to use to measure milliamperes up to a maximum of 1 ampere or current up to 10 amperes on this connector. Here at the top, we have the mode that allows you to lock the reading so you can capture a reading at a specific moment and freeze it on the screen. And at the bottom, we have the relative reading mode. At the top, we have the USB Type-C connection, which is used to charge the device's battery and also to update the firmware via computer. Here we have the NCV sensor, which you bring close to the conductor to detect if that conductor is live or not. Now let's go into the user menu, where we have the options for regular function, which is normal, the normal use of the device, and the record function, which allows you to record a reading from the device. Here, for example, it's in a mode where it generates a continuous timeline, and as you take a measurement, it will generate a graph there. See how the graph went up there. If I disconnect, the graph will go back to 0. But in this case, if it's a linear reading, it will show a ramp, right, or a curve, depending on what you're measuring. So you can press here on the inner part, on the inner button, and it will save that reading. Also, going back to the menu, we have the monitor mode. The monitor mode works as follows. You set a minimum voltage range and a maximum range, and if the reading exceeds the measured value above or below, it will emit an alert via an audible signal. So here you set the minimum and maximum values, and also whether this value will be positive or negative. You can set minimum and maximum readings for voltage, current, and temperature. Going back to the menu, I'm going to leave it on the regular option, which is the default option for the device. Here in the history or record mode section, it shows a history of the recordings you've made. In this case, it has this recording that I made here, so it got saved. And in the system function, we have the option to change the theme to 1 or 2. So here I prefer theme 2 because in theme 2, the characters are much larger, making them easier to see. Going down a bit further, we have the option to select the language. So we have Chinese and English. We're going to select English. And here we have a screen brightness adjustment. You can also set whether the temperature will be displayed in degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit. And here we have the auto off option. This function comes disabled from the factory, but you can set values here from 5 to 20 minutes, after which it will turn off if there are no changes on the device. Keep in mind that if you select the auto off time option, if you are taking a reading in monitoring mode and trigger this function, it will turn off and interrupt the monitoring mode. Okay? So if you're using monitoring mode, leave it off. And if you want the device to turn itself off after a period of inactivity, then you set a time after which it will turn off. And here we have the device reset option, which is where it returns to factory settings, and here it shows the firmware version, in this case version 2.4, the most recent version. For devices with an older firmware version, the manufacturer's website provides a firmware update that you can download and install on your device. And here on the home screen, we also have a sidebar that shows the signal level or the level of the reading you're taking, in addition to the value that appears on the display. The verdict is that it meets the needs of a low-cost device that is lightweight, has a rechargeable battery, a good screen display, and advanced features. Negatives, if we can call them that, would be regarding the reading in auto mode. When you go to take a reading in auto mode, it keeps trying to detect what you're measuring. So it's going to take a bit of time to give you the reading. So for example, if you're measuring continuity, it takes a while to give you the continuity. This is a negative point if you want to measure, for example, a bad contact or something where a contact failure is occurring. So for those cases, it's better to come here and select the continuity mode manually. So that way, it won't have that delay in the reading. Okay? So that's it. The device works well. Of course, it's still new to me, right? I'm still going to use it in practice day to day, but the first impressions were of a device that really delivers on what it promises and for a relatively low cost, right, compared to more expensive equipment. I'll leave the link to the device here in the description and also in the pinned comment. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, you know the drill. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video.